yes, I'm that type of person that saves boxes, but hey, we gotta save the planet one step at a time, and I conveniently had a box that was pretty close to being cube shaped. It was actually like 12 by 12 by 11, so not perfectly cube, but good enough to where nobody would notice. But my ingenious hack with this DIY was to literally buy some wood contact paper off of Amazon for less than $8. So not only did this make this DIY super inexpensive, but it really kind of just made it chef's kiss, you know? Like, I don't understand when I actually came up with this idea, but I don't know why it didn't dawn on me sooner, honestly. But I pre-cut each of those pieces to the dimensions that I mentioned before, and I just covered each side, tried to smooth it out as much as I could. Now, since this box was pre-made and pre-taped and all that stuff, there were definitely some unnecessary wrinkles, but you know, by the time you get the edges onto the box and like the letter or number, I don't think you're gonna really notice unless someone is shining a light on it and just being a little bit too close to your project. Then it looks fine in my opinion. You guys will see the end result. But by the time I got to the last side, now mind you, I only covered 5 of the sides. I didn't feel like it was necessary to cover the bottom. I pieced together the scraps that I had left over from what I cut, and that way we're being resourceful. So I had a stack of cardstock paper just in my stash, and I kind of laid out the colors that I wanted to use, but I wanted to also make sure that I had enough for this project. So I ended up having enough of pink paper, and I cut those into 3-inch slits, and that way we can put that on the edge. Now, I definitely could have used this cutter, but I pulled this out not to cut it again, but to actually use my folding tool, creasing tool that I have from Cricut. So it's like this pen, but it's not actually a pen. It just kind of has like a metal end, metal point that just allows you to crease your paper like that. And so you get some nice folds. So you're gonna need, I believe, yes, 12 of these in total so that you can cover all of the edges of the box. And then once you have all of those nice and folded and ready, then we can go ahead and glue them on. So I just put it against the box so that I could get a good measurement of where to cut it. I am an eyeball type of person. But yeah, of course you're gonna cut it. And for my glue, I actually used rubber cement. So if you want to use rubber cement correctly, you actually want to glue it on both of the surfaces. So I glued it onto the paper, and then, I put the glue on the paper and then also onto the box itself. Then you're going to kind of let it dry for the most part. It doesn't have to dry completely, but mostly. And by the time it gets to that stage, then you can adhere it on. And I like it because you don't have to be all that clean. If you ever get it off of the edges or where you don't want it to be, by the time it's dry, you can literally just rub it off with your fingers. And this glue also doesn't morph. It really allows paper to go really flat onto the surface. Then, of course, I'm going to use my Cricut so that I could cut out the numbers. I'm cutting out 1 because I want one box to have 1 because Ray is turning 1, of course. And then the other box is going to say R or have R. Now, if you're an avid Cricut user, then you probably already know this hack, but I'm just taking away the negative space that we're not using. But by the time you're actually going to take off the numbers, then you want to bend the mat itself and not the letters. That way you're not like creasing it or curling the paper in any unnecessary way. Then once it got to attaching the number, I traced it with like a similar colored pencil so that I knew where to glue, and I glued it on. Here I am showing you that I actually had to build my second box because again, I am the type to save cardboard for any future projects like this. So this time I did actually make it a perfect cube. I did make it 11 by 11 by 11. Had 6 pieces of those, and then I taped them together. But when you are first constructing the box, you don't want to have them right next to each other. You want to allow some space for it to bend, kind of how I just showed you. and then you're just gonna go at it. You're gonna tape 4 of them together so that you can create that initial square. And then I'm pretty sure you guys kind of get the idea. Then you're gonna just have to add the top and the bottom. So we're just gonna speed through that. And you may have noticed that at this point I have a band-aid because silly me, I was trying to rush during Rhea's nap time and I cut myself. So don't be me, take your time, not only so you can save yourself from cutting yourself like I did, but just because you definitely want this project to be very clean and crisp. You know, it's a very simple DIY and that's why I like it, but it's definitely something that you want to do right or else it does look a little messy, you know. But as you can see with this box, I ended up using the color red, and I'm putting R for Rhea, but conveniently, and this wasn't planned before, but red starts with R, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm really excited that I actually got to create this DIY not only for myself, but so that I could share my tips with you guys, because literally I've been trying to figure out how to do this on a budget, because I definitely think that you could end up creating a wooden box, but for someone who isn't a party planner and kind of only wants to get one use out of it and may potentially, you know, get rid of it afterwards, I didn't want to spend a lot on wood, and I wanted to just make this very convenient, you know, again, convenient and inexpensive. And this is how it turned out. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you try it for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a comment down below and give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, then make sure to do so, because we want you here for a long time and not just a good time. Okay, honey? But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!